This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Today's episode of Two Bad Hombres is brought to you by The Athletic. Premium coverage for passionate Detroit sports fans. Listeners of this podcast can save 30% off the first year of an annual subscription by going and visiting theathletic.com/DSP. Don't miss out on in-depth features. They got writers covering all the major Detroit sports and news and notes that's happening around town. You can subscribe, read great content. That's why Vito, Adam, myself, we read the content every single day. Save 30% off. Definitely go and visit theathletic.com/DSP. Join a growing movement.
I was trying to get it out here. I want them dead presidents. I want to pull up, head spin, get it, get fly. I got 6 jobs. I don't get tired. I don't get tired. I don't get tired. Get it, get fly.
And we are still not tired on this week's episode of Two Bad Hombres. I am your host, Vito Geronimo, alongside my usual sidekick and broadcast partner in fun. That is Doc from Doc and Jock, John Charles McElroon. John, how are you doing?
Speaking of not tired, I just want to tell everybody how hard Vito works for the network, okay? I just want to describe to you what he did on Thursday. And this is a guy that I respect greatly, and that's why he's the reporter, host of a couple podcasts here on the network. And Thursday, obviously, he went and covered the news conference for the hiring of new head coach for Detroit Mercy, Mike Davis. He was out there getting good audio, making contacts, good stuff. Then he recorded 2 podcasts back-to-back, one for his own television show. Then he came here to the studio. And all I want to say is this. Vito's hardworking, and the song that we have that leads this show is apropos. Vito is not tired. He's working hard, making a name for himself. Glad always to be recording a podcast with you. You can follow Vito at Vito Jerome. Two Bad Hombres going to kick off. I can't wait this week to talk because I feel like this might be one of our funniest shows. I feel like there's going to be some growth. There's going to be some back and forth banter. And like always, we got to start off with, what did you and Nick do that the doc was not invited to over this last week?
Well, I had a great time on my birthday at a wedding for my buddy Dominic Arena, a buddy from Detroit Mercy. A lot of laughs were involved and a lot of hijinks and hilarity, a lot of dancing, a lot of boozing it up. Let's just say that from the open bar. So a lot of Bud Light. I was drinking that instead of the Killian's Red, whatever the heck that was, from Killian's on draft that was available to the masses at this wedding in Bath, Michigan, Bath Township, right outside of East Lansing, like 10 to 15 minutes away from East Lansing itself, and like 15 to 20 minutes away from Michigan State University and the lovely campus of MSU, which you know all about, Doc, and you love to this day, and maybe a little bit too much to a fault. But yeah, so MSU was really close to us, and to kind of, bring it back to what we really want to discuss here about what I did, well, like I said, tons of dancing, tons of fun, hijinks and hilarity, and you could say tons of alcohol, too, was involved.
Great stuff. We recapped it a little bit on Tigers Talk.
We did a little bit already, correct.
Which you host every single Wednesday on this network. But the part that I wanted to highlight, the part that we teased, we got to pay it off, was Nick was, doing the social media thing, kind of taking pictures of the table. Everybody was drinking, double-fisted with the drinks.
You see all the drinks on the one tip? You see that?
He circled it.
He loved it. He just had a profile of that, man.
Everybody had 2, and he circled it. It's fun. That's what you do at weddings, is you go, you have cocktails, you have a good time. But the thing that caught my attention was what you decided to wear. As we talked about in previous podcasts, you and I were talking about like what you're going to wear. You're not really a suit guy.
No, never have.
If you follow us on Twitter at Detroit Podcast, you see that you're just a casual, business casual kind of guy. I know when you're on TV, you like to spruce it up.
Jazz it up just a little bit for Blair Glover, my co-host on TV, yeah.
Exactly. But this outfit that you chose to wear, Vito, I showed my wife, and I said, when I first saw it, I said, okay, I know I got to talk to Vito in a kind of big brother, big uncle kind of way, okay? Couple things I didn't like. Now, it's a critique. I wasn't too in favor of what you wore, okay?
And now why is that, Mr. Critiquer?
Now, first and foremost, I have to ask you because, as you know, I'm doing like 80 things here in the studio. Even when we're recording, you can see the videos. I'm like looking at the computer. I'm on the phone texting, trying to book other interviews, trying to book other clients. I'm doing a bunch of different things. Do you wear glasses to the studio when we record shows?
You've never noticed? You've got to be kidding me.
No, Vito.
I wear glasses all the time. I'm going to tell you the truth here. You did not even notice it, but like 2 years back, I wore swim trunks. to the studio and got that by you like with no problem whatsoever. You didn't even notice. You didn't say one thing about I had swim trunks on. And you didn't notice one bit.
I feel like you could share the text I sent you. I said, bring your glasses. Are those the ones you wore?
Did. That's why I was trying to figure out what you meant by that. I don't even know if I responded to that. I didn't respond to that text because I didn't realize what you meant by that because I wear my glasses all the time.
Okay, see, and that's what I've become. I've become more an audio person that literally I don't really look at you.
Very non-observant. I guess you not even care what I look like at this point, which, I mean, really, why should we care about what we look like at all times? But,
no, because,
man, that really tells you are clearly not observant of what I'm wearing.
Screenshot the picture of that text and send it to me because that's kind of how it is that I told you to wear the glasses when you've been wearing them to the studio for 2 years.
Yeah, probably for 2 years. God, really? You've never noticed I wore... wear glasses on a consistent recording basis, man.
I do have an excuse. It's that I'm really intently listening on what you're saying. And you're a dude. I mean, obviously...
Yeah, you're not really judging me and my looks, right? Which you shouldn't be doing.
Exactly.
Right?
So, and sometimes when you get into the habit of what you do is I'm kind of talking to the microphone, then look at the computer. And Vito... your voice is so bold in my headphones that I just kind of really focus in on what you're telling me. So if you would have said, Doc, does Vito wear glasses? I'm like, no. He just comes in and we talk, and I'll be like, no, he doesn't wear glasses. So when I saw it on you, I don't know, when you had the bow tie on, the way you were wearing those glasses was more prominent.
Huh.
I don't know.
It brought out my eyes.
Were
the glasses,
those,
I guess, more.
Were those the glasses that you wore to the wedding?
I wear these ones right here that I have on right now that I'm donning, the black ones. Hugo Bosses, I wear these all the time. Same brand, same model, same shape, color, flavor, you name it.
Okay, see, that's, and I have to apologize for that. I got to be more observant. And so your attire, you wore a bow tie, but I think you should have, you would have been better off wearing black. I would have said I think you chose a light blue color or a gray color.
It was blue, no, it was pretty sharp, dark blue, like navy blue, I believe.
I wasn't a fan of the color. The suit color was fine. I felt like the most egregious thing that you wore was the shirt.
Oh yeah,
you can't wear whatever that was. That like polka dots or what was that?
Blue and white.
It had stuff on it.
It was
striped. And I looked at it and I said, that look.
You didn't like that part, huh?
I didn't like the look, Vito. And I said to myself, okay, Big Uncle's got to come in. I got to talk to you about it because I know a little bit about suits. I feel like you're close. You were close to achieving the goal. I think next time you got to wear single color, and in that situation, maybe you didn't even have to be more modern and progressive. You didn't even have to wear a bow tie. You can wear it because of your swag and what you could present. I feel like you could have gotten away with that suit, open collar. Just open collar, a little bit more casual.
Open chest, baby. Showing up the chest to the masses.
Button it up to the top, except for the top button. Open it up a little bit. Or if you're going to go out, I feel like in the photos, I think Nick wore a tie. I think that you should have worn a tie instead of the bow tie.
Because the bow tie made me look like what? Why are you saying that the bow tie really, irked you?
The outfit made us look like you were the help.
No, really? You think so with the bow tie?
Yeah.
But a good-looking, handsome member of the help. Come on now.
Yes, you look like the help, and I was like, it just didn't hit for me what I would have wanted for you. I needed some sophistication and a little bit more boldness. Now, it's not to say you didn't look good in it. I felt like you did look good, but I felt like you could have upped it a lot. And so, in the coming weeks, I'm going to try to set up a situation in which maybe you and I go to a stylist place. And
we should. Then we record it. You'll put it on Twitter, on Snapchat. And
I will help you out with some nice blue shirts, white shirts, single colors, and a couple ties. I might do that for you because I saw that and I was like, that's my boy. That's my dog. I can't let him go.
And it stuck out to you.
It stuck
like
out
a sore
to me.
Thumb.
It did. And I said, okay, you know what? I can't have my boy looking like he's serving the people there. I got to have him a little bit more sharp. And I think he went casual. I'm saying you maybe could grow your hair out a little bit, spike it up a little bit, do a little bit more than still got the college look.
Too basic?
A little bit.
But I'm young
basic.
looking. I'd rather be young looking than
you
35 to 40, 45-year-old looking. Yeah.
But there were ladies there, so you should have went there with the eye of like, hey, look at me. And so either you're going to go really conservative or you're going to go really over the top. I'm talking about like jewelry galore.
Ultra liberal with it,
ultra something a little bit different. So not to say it was a horrible look. I would say that I think the look could have been enhanced with a little bit less than what you tried to pull off. But tell me about how you got to this outfit, because I looked at it and said, I think I got to help Vito out with a little bit of style, and that's coming from me. I just say no bow tie other than black, and a shirt should be singular color and open. You don't have to wear a tie to weddings, especially if it's not somebody that, is like you're in the wedding. You're just kind of hanging out, having drinks. It gets hot. You dance.
Well, I took off the suit jacket really darn quick because once you're dancing, I went outside, didn't have the suit jacket on.
Exactly.
Lovely balcony, lovely night. It wasn't too hot out. Was on the balcony with the masses of people that were there, females as well, females and males. So I lived it up, and the females did see me. I think I did draw attention from them because of the fact that I was dancing on the dance floor at one point, too, and we can discuss that, too, a little bit.
Did you dance with any of the ladies?
I didn't dance with any of the ladies or any males, so I can say that much. And the thing is, I dance by myself. I do a lot of freestyle dancing, man, and I just live it up, get into it, and I think people become enamored by me and gravitate towards me. And by the end of the night, I had somebody that was stripping, a guy that was stripping, actually, showing off his bare chest. I brought this up, I think, on Tiger's Talk, too, or in the Periscope that we did this week for Tuesdays with Vito. And he was living it up. I mean, he wanted me to fully engage with him, get into it, and I kind of did, like partially did. I didn't want to totally lead him on or get totally involved with him and the activity, but it was quite the act that he pulled. He had the chair out as well to use as a prop, and he was pulling me in, and we did some good dancing there, but a lot of freestyle dancing and me by myself, myself, and I guess you could say.
The next wedding you go to, you got to be casual about it, but as long as you're cool and suave, you can dance with any ladies, Vito.
I'm not scared that much, really.
Why
it's
didn't
not
you
about being
dance
scared. It's just I do my own thing.
ladies?
Nobody was dancing with a lady like that.
Why?
Well, guys and girls that were boyfriend and girlfriend or wife and husband were doing. So, I mean, I'm not just going to be the first guy that starts that trend. I'm not that guy that's going to start the trend, and I'm not the one that needs the girl in my life for one night especially just to dance with her when I'm living it up and it's my birthday. You think I'm worried about the girl when I'm drinking and it's my birthday? Could care less about the girl dancing with me or any girl dancing with me, unless it's like Ariana Grande, which we can talk about her in a little bit, or Selena Gomez.
Yes, we got a new segment to debut. I already forgot what I told you to call it. But
it's like a 5-minute quickie. Quickie with Vito. Vito's Quickie. Something like that.
Vito's
Quickie, right?
Vito's Quickie News.
Yes.
To end the podcast.
Sure.
But I totally disagree, Vito. I feel like that's the only thing you should have been thinking about was...
when it's my birthday, you think I'm worried about anything but really living it up myself and having fun with my buddies?
Companionship. I feel like
I didn't need companionship for June 9th, my birthday last Saturday. Now, maybe I need it moving forward, and I think I do more and more now because I think about it more and more. But for one single night, I didn't really care about having the companionship. And all my other guys now that were with me in my group, only one guy had a girlfriend there. There was one girl, a bunch of guys in that hotel room. Let me tell you, it stunk. That girl had to deal with a lot of smells. And not just from me, a lot from somebody else, actually her boyfriend. So think about it that way. So I guess she's used to the smell. But anyways, she had to deal with that. Some raunchiness there, man.
No. This is unacceptable, Vito. I think your mindset should have been to have fun, yes, but to have fun with a companion. When you go to weddings,
but if I don't have one, I'm not just going to create one or make up one. And
Vito, do you not observe kind of what happens at weddings? A lot of single gals go to weddings to hang out and have a good time.
To hook up, you're saying?
Not to hook up, but just to dance. Have a drink, have a conversation. I'm saying, look,
I was drinking. I was conversating with the people that I wanted to conversate with. Trust me, I wasn't just sitting there. And you saw, you have the pictures you got off of Snapchat from Nick Schmiegel. You posted on Twitter. You see me drinking. I love how you got some photos there and had to put that into a collage, too, on Twitter. And tweeted it out from at Detroit Podcast, our Twitter handle on Twitter. Yep. That was just crazy, man.
I got permission, but not from you.
Yeah, not from me. Well, yeah, then you're trying to get me to text you. I'm not even by my phone. I could care less about my phone that evening, man.
I realized it, so that's why I texted Nick.
That's good, I guess, because you wanted to still get the access to the photos. So I guess once you got his permission, that was good enough for you, huh?
That was good enough for me. And he was enthusiastic.
He was loving it, right?
He was loving it. And so, did you make any new contact? Did you talk to somebody new from the opposite sex and have a conversation at the wedding?
I don't think so. I'll be honest. Well, I'm going to admit the truth. I'm not going to make, right now I can make it up. I could fabricate a story. I mean, I'm a good BSer at times, too. I could BS to you right now and act like, yeah, I was talking to this girl, had her man hooked to me, hooked at the hip. She wanted to go back with me to the hotel. Now, that would sound a lot more spicy to you and intriguing to you. I know that. And maybe to the masses, because our demographic might be more male, dominant than female. Who the hell knows? I don't even know what our demographic is on Two Bad Hombres. But I think we hit a lot of demographics. And anyways, back to your point, it didn't happen. Nothing happened with the opposite sex. Sorry.
See, I feel a big responsibility in this, in that I thought when you go to the wedding that this was going to be a given. You're going to go hang out, and you're going to make new friends, and you're going to make a contact. So I take full blame, full responsibility. Because it was your birthday, I kind of got distracted and sidetracked. I should have given you the game plan and given you the way to have this conversation and have a good time with the wedding a little bit more than you did. But it was your birthday. You turned 25.
I could live it up
now
the way
it's a
that I
mental
wanted
note.
to. Yep, I am 25. You thought I was
About
What?
20, 26, 20, a little bit older. I thought you
A
were a
little
little
bit older,
older.
yeah.
You just turned 25, so
Look at me. Wait,
24
because
years
I
old.
look older than I... No, what do you think honestly, honest truth out of you. Be honest, not just because we're doing this right now and talking here. What do I look like? What age?
Oh, 21. 20. You look younger than
Young.
you are.
I look younger, which is good. I think that's positive for me at least. And I really... This is how I look at it, because I'm short, below 5 feet tall, and I look young, fresh in the face, vibrant, and especially without any mustache or facial hair. I think, honestly, I can pull off any age, any day of the week. I can be like 21 one day, 25 another, 30 another day. Because nobody can really say, oh, you look, because they would feel like they're discriminating against me, too, if they think, or they pick out a certain age and say, oh, you're that. They're not going to do that to me. So I can really pull off, I think, any age from what, 20 and above? Or 21 and above? I think it's something like that, Doc, in my opinion, at least.
Okay, so overall, it was a good birthday?
Absolutely. And actually, we got to rekindle the flames, not with the opposite sex per se, but with a newlywed couple that Nick and I had like a discrepancy with. A few years back, we went on a cruise, and this was our good buddy at one point. And his woman at the time was still this lady that he's married since, and they're tight. They're a couple. Well, back then they were a couple, and this guy, I guess I can admit it to the masses here, I don't think he's listening in, and even if he is, I guess I'll deal with the repercussions afterwards. He cheated on his girl, cheated on the woman that he's now married with, who Nick and I knew really well back then. So this is a juicy story for you. I know you would want to hear about this.
Does she know?
No, they're together. Yeah,
Oh,
she
okay.
found out. By the way, she was in such dismay and up in arms that she got rid of us. She told Nick, this guy, I almost said his name. Well, his first name, you heard it now, kind of. Not Nick Schmigel, but another, you can guess it. She told him that he had to get rid of us, like cut ties completely. So he did. He severed ties with us, and we hadn't seen him or talked to him since pretty much. Since this cruise, our junior year of undergrad in college at Detroit Mercy. So it had been since, I don't know when, 2014, since we had last really had a conversation, deep, insightful, engaging conversation with this fella and his woman, his wife now. So we didn't know what to expect going into that wedding. Because of that, we thought maybe they wouldn't even be willing to talk to us, that we wouldn't even have a conversation with them. And we actually kind of made amends with this couple. And now we're friends again, at least friendly and acquaintances. And we made up for lost time. And it worked out. It worked out a lot better than we had thought. And we honestly thought, I was joking with my mom and dad, that there was going to be a big fisticuff, a big scuffle that would have resulted because of our, past history with this couple and how they didn't like us, stopped talking with us, kind of just disowned us. We thought, they're going to be not willing to talk to us. There might be a fight, fisticuffs. He's going to, punch me. She's going to put her heel in my neck while I'm on the ground and make sure I'm lying on the ground and don't move again.
Table this conversation because we got to have it. The request that she made is out of bounds, in my opinion.
Right? That's why we disowned them, too. We didn't talk to them after
so
that.
Jot that
for a long
down
time.
because I do hear that quite a bit with youngsters in terms of friends, and when people get together, they start excluding other friends, and it results in a nightmare if the relationship ends. So jot that down.
Yeah.
I've been sending you a couple topics. We will definitely follow up with that, as well as other people's bathroom habits.
I heard about that
Oh,
from
my
you.
God. I can't wait to share
Interesting
this story.
topic there,
I was pissed. And I probably should have had it for content for the podcast, but I definitely jot that down, and we'll follow up in future episodes of this podcast. But you know what? We can end the subject in saying that I got to have you improve your swag if you're going to begin the journey of the two big goals that you're going to have, which is develop a long-term relationship and move out of your parents' home and get your bachelor pad. We got to get you a little bit more stylish, and we got to get you a little bit more to conversate and tell people what you do, because you have a fascinating job. You do a lot of different things.
Is it that fascinating to the opposite
Yes.
sex? I think you're overstating how fascinating it might be.
See, I'm going to continue now to teach you how to sell yourself with...
As a pimp, P-I-M-P,
Exactly.
as 50 Cent once said.
You're now...
P-I-M-P.
A little tease here before the break. You're now involved with one of the biggest sports radio groups of all time, the Clones, and we'll share that story after
That
this
is
break.
funny, yes. Let us share that after the break, Doc.
Yeah, Vito, I want to tell you about our host site, Podomatic.com. We've recorded 1,000 podcasts on this network since 2013. 1,000, Vito. Why have we grown to the level of success that we have? We have a great host site. When we record these podcasts, we try to give each other advice. We try and have a good time and share some laughs. We then take the audio and upload it quickly to Podomatic so that we can share quality links. Now, Vito, you shared a great story with me, and I want to share it with everybody else. After you completed the interview with Earl Curitan, he came back and said, wow, guys, the finished product is amazing, and it's like a living resume with all my accomplishments.
He did say that. Quite impressive, right, when you hear that, too.
Now imagine if we have a host site that's poor or the link is broken. He actually went back and heard it. He listened to it. He came back and complimented you. When he saw you at Detroit Mercy, he came up to you right away and said, look, you did a great job. The finished product was awesome. You can't bring on guests and not be able to share the show with them. And we've been lucky enough to use Podomatic for all the shows. We've only had one host site. All the hosts here, we're going to recommend one host site and one host site alone. So if you're starting a brand new project, you better use Podomatic.com. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Bad Hombres on the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. So we do Tuesdays with Vito every Tuesday via Periscope, and it's really fun in a way to connect with people. And just a random follower who follows us on Twitter, he kind of popped into Tuesdays with Vito and said, hey, I'm 12 Wood. And I knew that name sounded familiar. And this individual, what he does is he's a huge clone, a follower of Jim Rome, the world-renowned, the really famous sports radio host who's done the job for over 30 years. He's got a huge following, and Jim Rome's followers are called clones. And this guy does a Periscope every Friday, but it's long. It's 2 hours long. And what he does is he recaps the week in the jungle. He brings back former guests, former big-name callers, people that are associated with the Jim Rome Show. So this guy actually has something called the Woodscopes. And he came in and peeked into your Tuesdays with Vito, and it was really cool because I got a chance to tell him, hey, I'm a clone. I follow Jim Rome. I was at his tour stop, and it was cool. So go follow 12 Wood. And so now he tweeted out our video. He tweeted out your video. So all the clones that follow Jim Rome and follow him on the Woodscopes now know you, Vito. So that's how you kind of spread this thing, is that you say, hey, communities that are part of sports radio all kind of intermingle. And we're all fans of the medium. That's why we do this. So it's really cool. You're kind of branching out. People really like Tuesdays with Vito. We have a good time. We play music. You dance, flex. We talk about the podcast.
Because you love for me to do it.
Yeah, it's
You're
fun.
almost, I almost said it if I was going to actually start the second half of this podcast, back with the man that I'm living, or that is living vicariously through me, the Doc from Doc and Jock, John Charles Macaron, because it seems like at times you are. You like the attention I get, and it like sparks you. Too, when I flex, when I dance, and you love my dance moves, don't you? You missed out on Saturday at that wedding once again. But back to your talk about these guys, these clones from the Jim Rome Show, like you were talking about.
So now we're continuing to branch out, and people know about us, and the clones are on board. We have a lot of clones that followed us now on the network, and people are now following us through your work, through the Prep Kickoff Classic with Zenith, through the Detroit Sports Commission, through your work with Sound Mind, Sound Body.
Yeah.
So we're continuing to branch, and I like it. I like where we're going with the podcast and all the fun that we've been having. So to share a funny story with the listeners, you remember the guy that was evicted from his home, right?
Correct.
Now, it's actually funny and really regrettable that we didn't do it, but he was offered several jobs in terms of attention, and companies that wanted extra attention gave him jobs and things like that. But one person who is well known on the internet actually employed the man and gave him an opportunity. Mr. Skin, which you didn't know about.
No, probably good I didn't know about Mr. Skin, but it sounds inappropriate right off the bat when you say Mr. Skin. You're like, who gets called Mr. Skin?
Exactly. So the funny part is, like, you're like, who employed him? Who's Mr. Skin? Tell everybody who doesn't know what does Mr. Skin do?
Actually, you can tell them because I still don't fully know.
Okay.
But it's related to porn. Am I correct in saying that? Or
Wrong.
Okay.
So this cat, he's featured prominently on like Howard Stern, Adam Carolla. He makes his way around podcasts and things like that. What he does is, back in the day, he would always kind of watch movies, regular films that are released.
Yeah, let me say it. Get the nude parts from the movies, right?
Exactly. So back in the day, you'd have to kind of go through VHS tapes and kind of see where the nudie parts were. Some people wouldn't even watch the movie. They just kind of would hear and pass along to their friends, oh my God, did you see Kim Basinger in this movie?
You mean you too?
Oh, well, man.
Maybe back in the day, right?
So what he did was, Mr. Skin made a career out of going through every movie that's released and telling you on his website the exact time in the movie when there's a nude scene. The exact time. So if you don't want to watch the movie and you just want to go to a movie and see a certain actress and when she's nude in the movie, you can go to MrSkin.com. And he's been doing it for decades and advertising himself. And so he employed the guy that was evicted from his parents' house. Do you see this being successful?
Michael Rotundo, right?
Yep. Do you see this being successful?
Well, by the way, what is he doing for Mr. Skin now? No, he's actually watching for these nude scenes, too. He's watching out for them, and he's going to capture them and get the exact time in each film. Is he doing this thing now for Mr. Skin, the same thing that Mr. Skin has done? Like capturing the moments in these movies and the specific times when there is a nude scene? Is that what he's doing for Mr. Skin?
I think that's probably something that he can do, help out with, is watch the movies, and that's got to be an expensive
Takes a
job.
nice, expensive
Marketing.
degree. Takes a great degree for that, to get that job, huh?
Could you do that
What
job,
a job
Vito?
to land. I think I could easily.
Just
But
watch
would
movies?
I want to? That's the thing. Would I want to do that? I think my mind would be entrenched by all the nude scenes. I know that much, and I probably wouldn't get too much else done during my day.
Vito, it's funny stuff, man. I feel like we should have, reached out and gave him an opportunity and been like, hey, let's get some attention, some secondary gain. And
We'll
things
pay
like
you
that.
something, too, down the line. You might not see it for a while, or you might never see it, but we could tell him that, too, and lead him on and act like, yeah, you'll get paid. And then there's no compensation. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, Big Mike. But this opportunity, man, is this a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? I mean, I'm going to say this about this guy now, this Michael Rotundo. He's become a media darling. Everybody has had him on their podcast, their TV show, their radio show to interview him, to get to know him, get his background info, and to offer him jobs. I mean, think about all these people that have offered him jobs now. Alex Jones, a conspiracy theorist, has offered him a job, has been looking out for him, trying to help him out. It's like, oh, are these guys that weird and desperate for attention themselves to offer this guy a job? And for what? Now, this guy has become, like I said, a media darling, has so much fame now and attention showcased to him on a daily basis. It's like almost being evicted from his parents' home has benefited him hugely, hasn't it? I mean, it seems like that, definitely seems like that to me, Doc.
I feel like he can succeed as long as he's given specific tasks. As long as he's got to just watch the movie and document, I feel like he can stay employed. And
that's some hard work.
as long as you're
You need some focus, some great focus there to be able to do that job, right? To perfection, at least.
Exactly. I feel like he can succeed as long as he's given a chance and given some motivation. So we'll see what happens.
So give him a shot at doing that. What a hell of a job right there for a 30-year-old that just got evicted from his parents' home. And then, you hear some other stories, some, news outlets that have really made a major thing out of Robert De Niro recently and what he said about Donald Trump. And he said F Trump, and it was in front of a big play audience, correct?
I feel like it was a Tony Awards, award show. I think it was a big award show. I want to say it's a Tony Awards. You can look it up while I tell you my piece on it. See, here's the thing, okay, Vito? We all understand that most actors, most people out there in California that are liberal do not like Donald Trump. Vito, there are better ways of showing your discontent. We can have, what was the thing that we kept saying is the way you and I kind of handle our business and the way that we show how to have what we call civil discourse. And what Robert De Niro did was not civil discourse. What he did was display a way to disrespect the office of the president. Now, look, nobody said that you have to like what the president says. Nobody said you have to like his policies. Nobody said you have to respect the man. But what you got to do is respect the office. And sometimes the men that have been elected to that office have done things on both parties that have shown to besmirch that office. So if you don't like the president, that's fine. You can say, you know what, we deserve better in the White House. Robert De Niro could have went and had a 15-minute speech and played up to his base and played up to the supporters. But to say the F word right there into a microphone and to pump his fist and be proud of it, it's just disrespectful. And I like Robert De Niro. I like his movies. I feel like he's a quality actor. But in this case, I feel like this is not the example you want to show people, which is, if you don't like someone, tell them to F off. Now, the person can be vile. You can think this person is a scum of the earth kind of person. Two wrongs don't make a right. Robert De Niro was wrong. This is not how you act in a way to show that you're unhappy with somebody. Just speak your mind. And just also remember that not everything that the president has done has been awful. Now, maybe the way he relates to people, maybe the way you feel like his policies are, you can have a total opposite view of the president and you can just come out and say it. It didn't really need to be said. We all know Democrats are against Donald Trump. You don't need to say...
And so are conservatives and more Republicans from that GOP party. So it's not just Democrats, but I was going to say, based off of what you just said, then I was reading into the story a little bit, and to clarify, it was at the Tony Awards, so you were right about that fact. And he delivered it to this crowd that probably is, pro-liberal, right? Slanted towards the liberal policies and whatnot, and liberal beliefs and views. So he delivered this message, and guess what happened when he did so at the Tony Awards? He got a standing ovation. It fired up the crowd. Like, he was so passionate and fiery. Almost had me laughing. I'm kind of laughing right now looking at that, how the reaction was from the crowd there that were watching him give this speech and presenting Bruce Springsteen on Sunday night at the Tony Awards. So he rallied against President Trump and said, first, I want to say F Trump. He said in the bleep telecast, it's no longer down with Trump, it's F Trump. Now, the thing is, he's being so vile, overly vile, And you know what? I don't advocate swearing and dropping the F-bomb. I never swear myself in my day-to-day life, so I'm never going to just drop the F-bomb, even about somebody I don't like, maybe even about Trump, because I don't like him that much as president. But I still say you have to respect the office a little bit, but then I say I'll counter that with a belief that I hold more importantly to me, and it is that, guess what? Trump is on Twitter saying all these vile things, vulgarities, and being stupid and ludicrous and calling out people, name-calling Robert De Niro as well, and reacting to what De Niro said at the Tony Awards. And Trump said via Twitter, like in Vito's Bad Tweet of the Week, we haven't done this segment in a long, long time here on Two Bad Hombres, but he said about Robert De Niro the following, open quotes, Robert De Niro, a very low IQ individual, has received too many shots to the head by real boxers in movies. I watched him last night and truly believe he may be punch drunk. I guess he doesn't realize the economy is the best it's ever been, with employment being at an all-time high, and many companies pouring back into our country. Wake up, punchy. He tweeted out. End of the quote right there. I mean, it's calling out him. He said so many vile things about women, been chauvinistic, misogynistic. You know, he is like a well-known misogynist. He has all this track record of like spreading hate and being vile and talking in vulgarities. And because of that, I think to a large extent, actually, that De Niro is just saying what other people are thinking. And him saying it, well, guess what? Trump says vile and is almost cussing at other people. You know he is behind the scenes, to his staff, to his administration. So De Niro saying this, I don't fault him that much. I wouldn't have done it.
Why?
I'm not advocating the F-bomb. I don't drop the F-bomb ever, and I'm never that vile. But I get why De Niro did it, because you know what he's saying about De Niro in the background. And then he responds like that, calling him a punch drunk. Is that right either? Two wrongs don't make a right. Trump should have never done that either, and should never have done some of the stuff that he's done on Twitter and will continue to do on Twitter.
Okay, see, here's the thing that I feel like needs to be expressed, okay? And this is coming from somebody who sometimes does things for attention. Maybe you're surprised, maybe you're not. Look, sometimes people do things for a reaction. Donald Trump, in his tweets, only cares about one group, his base.
Correct.
He does not care about what liberals think. He does not care what people who are opposed to him think. Now, do some people think that that's wrong and that he should try to unite everybody? That's the stance that he's chosen. So when you read his tweets, he does not care. So what he's saying is this: I'm going to be this way. I'm going to present myself in this way.
So that's why De Niro can do what he wants, because you know,
Right.
he's going to choose his own way of expressing his beliefs about Trump and what he thinks about him. So if he wants to be his own way, and he is all the time attracting his base and only geared towards his base, then De Niro can be geared towards his base and express his message to his base, which at the Tony Awards,
But Vito,
there's
hear
a
me
big
out.
base of liberals there,
Hear
like
me
you had
out.
said.
Hear me out, okay? Part of the reason, if you're upset that Donald Trump is in office, is liberals, CNN, the news. Here's what happened. They turned their network into 24 hours talking about Trump. They came out and spoke to the nation and said, Donald Trump has no chance to win. They spoke about every little thing that he did. Do you remember when the scandal broke with Grab him by the P and all that? It was nonstop. It was played literally 8,000 times. So the night of the election, CNN comes out and goes, here's the scenarios in which Donald Trump can win. They started laughing and having a good time, saying it's impossible. They basically crowned Hillary Clinton. And the look on their faces when he won, part of the reason why is he has the ability to kind of rally people, and he's now the underdog. When Robert De Niro does this, okay, you guys all clap, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, good job. You're
I wasn't
speaking.
clapping. I don't advocate that language, but I get why he did it.
Right, but I'm saying those in the crowd, people that go, wow, yeah, good job for Robert De Niro. In essence, what you've done is you've rallied the base again. Donald Trump's the underdog. If you keep doing this for the next 2 years, where you just highlight what a bad guy Trump is, what a womanizer he is, what kind of talk he has, if you keep doing this, if that's the way he's going to be portrayed, I don't call it fake news, I call it biased news, and in that they have a narrative and they just kind of find things to fulfill that narrative. With Donald Trump, it's pretty easy.
It's a confirmation bias.
Exactly. It's a confirmation bias, and it's biased news, not fake news. It's real. It's just biased. They will never share anything that he does that's successful. Never.
Well, it's little to none. It's much more bad. There's a controversy, a new one that spirals out of control every single day.
But
that's why
there's
there's such a 24/7 news cycle that is slamming him on CNN and other news outlets outside of Fox News. Remember that. It's not just CNN.
Yes,
too.
exactly. And so I want to say this. If the likes of Robert De Niro continue this way, you're going to see Donald Trump be reelected. No doubt about
I think
it.
so. I don't think it really matters in the re-election campaign. I don't think it really matters for Donald Trump and the poll results and who ends up on top in the re-election.
Okay.
If he even
hear me
makes
out.
it that far, I don't
See,
think he get
Vito,
impeached before then or something else happened to him. Or
nope.
how about him just resigning because he's going to be fed up
Vito,
and can't put up with anything else?
It's been 2 years, and there's just speculation. And so look at this. All I'm going to say is nobody believed he won the first time, and it was a shock to the world. But it won't be a shock again because there'll be a reason. And I'll tell you in 2 years, and I'll say, look, you want to say F Trump, you want to go out there and make him the underdog, people will vote for him. He has supporters. So if you want to continue to go down that road, I would say, look, just argue the policies, argue why your policies are better than his. Don't talk about the man. Everybody knows the man. Look, Vito.
Well, yeah, I'll give you this much. I think the campaign that the Democrat runs or the Republican that wants to dethrone him, I think has to be different than just attacking his sayings and what he said and his misogynist, chauvinistic ways. I agree with that. You have to attack his policies because it didn't work the first time. Also because of the fact that Hillary Clinton is highly unpopular. Like the most highly unpopular presidential candidate in the history of people that have run for the presidency. So Hillary Clinton didn't have a chance. She was a retread. You need a hotshot young candidate up and coming that runs for the presidency and in both parties.
So yeah, Robert De Niro was wrong, and I'm glad you said it was vile. I feel like if you want the liberals to unite and you want to help the Democratic Party, just talk about what you're going to do to help people. Right now, the reason why Donald Trump is popular, and I guess you got to beat it over people's head, is the singular most important topic to people. It's not social issues. It's not racism. It's not social justice. It's not police brutality. It's not a police state. It's not what's going on in the homeland. One subject and one subject alone.
I know it.
The economy.
Yeah, money. It's about money. Money.
When your pockets are full, President Trump can do and say whatever. But if the economy turns bad, that's the opportunity to come in and tell us how you can make it better. But right now, Donald Trump's riding the wave of a good economy. And if it stays like this, Vito, you could have The Rock run against Donald Trump. He wouldn't win.
Let me just say this. So we don't like that De Niro said this. Trump gets to say whatever he wants. And Trump, his base likes him because he says what's on his mind, right? He'll just go after people. He's non-presidential. Robert De Niro doesn't have to be presidential. He's not trying to run for the presidency. Why can't he say this? He's being authentic. It's what we think a lot of people think. Not you, maybe me a little bit.
Okay.
And a lot of people think that totally. Think F Trump. Can't they say it? He said it. It was vile, but can't he say that? He has a right to the First Amendment, free speech, and that's why Trump does what he does on Twitter with this base, and it relates to his base. Like De Niro was one of these people that like his message, man.
I read a book, and it's helped me being a psychologist. It's called How to Deal with a Narcissist. You don't get into the pit with a narcissist. Never. The narcissist will always win. The narcissist will always have the last word. The narcissist is just happy you mentioned his name. Donald Trump sat there, watched that, and was like, yes.
He's like going to get off to it, yeah.
My base is going to love this. Look at this. Look what I get to tweet about. You don't get into the pit with a narcissist. You hear the stuff that you don't like to hear about him, you ignore it. CNN and the news would be best served if you want to advance your cause. Highlight. Do you know any other politician right now besides Donald Trump?
Because he does so much dumbassery on a day-to-day basis, man. That's why he's in the 24/7 news cycle on CNN and other news outlets outside of Fox News once again.
He won the election.
But he does it to himself. The reason why he's covered so extensively, there's a new scandal every single day, and you know that yourself. There's some good, but the bad outweighs the good, and it does. And that's pure fact. That's not fake news. I'm not spinning it anyway. That's not an agenda that like CNN is trying to push. That is straight fact. But they bring up, they're reporting stuff. They're news reporters, credible journalists.
Right. But Vito,
remember that
too.
The
the part that you're failing to see is it's the side you're playing to the side that already hates him. Now,
so it empowers Trump and his base, but you have to cover it. But you have to cover it. It's happening. I'm saying it's happening, though. There is scandal every single day. He's doing it. Obama didn't have this news cycle because guess what? There wasn't a scandal every single day. He wasn't, banging porn stars. And you know that. Come on. If he would have been banging a porn star, isn't it realistic to believe and to admit right now that he would have been in the news cycle as well, and CNN would have been going after him? That's my point. If the president is bad as doing bad activities such as that, guess what? He's or she's going to be in the news cycle.
Okay, Vito.
That's my point.
My point is, if you continue to cover him this way, you are actually gaining him more followers from the left than you are losing him followers from his supporters. He's got a supporter base. It's strong. I have no indication that people that support Trump don't like him because the economy's strong. When you highlight the fact that he has sex with porn stars, when you highlight the fact that he's this way and he does this and does that, what you're doing, Vito, is you're actually taking some people who did not support him in the past and you're gaining him support from the left. I'm telling you that. People that see that, you think, oh my God, this is crazy. He said this. By playing that video of what he did and said 1,000 times, you gained him followers. You did not lose him followers. And so that's the part people are not understanding, is that the more you talk about the bad stuff he does, the more popular he becomes. Like Howard Stern, right? You would have thought 20 years ago, a guy that has women in his office riding, sex machines.
Well, at least he wasn't running for president, though. He wasn't trying to be presidential. He's never tried to be presidential. Donald Trump's the U.S. president now, remember, as well, man.
What I'm saying is, you would think that a guy like that would be vile and looked at and get kicked off the air. No, makes $90 million a year.
Yeah.
Has his own production company, does his own thing on Sirius. Okay, so what I'm saying is, you think you're going to demonize him? You think you're going to cost him followers? No. What you're doing is you're highlighting the part about him that fuels him, his narcissism. And so I would say that the better strategy, if your strategy is to remove him from office, tell me about some politicians that can go in there and do the job better.
Yes, I need that. I want to hear that too. I want to hear these young hotshot candidates that can dethrone him. You don't need a 70-year-old plus Bernie Sanders running against him. Bernie Sanders isn't going to win. So I totally admit that and believe that as well. Really quick, wanted to ask you to kind of, flip the switch here and make you accountable here maybe a little bit. Robert De Niro's not running for president. And is he really looking at or trying to help Trump lose followers with his message? Isn't he just speaking his mind? That's my point, though, too, because you're saying that it empowers his following, his base, maybe gains him a few more followers and more support. You think De Niro really cares about that when he's saying what he did about Trump at the Tony Awards and saying F Trump? I don't think De Niro's trying to lose him followers. So he's just speaking what's on his mind. That's my point, though.
But Vito,
he's not a politician. De Niro's never been a politician. He's not gearing it towards a political agenda. There's no political agenda there from De Niro, is my point, though, too.
And I'll rebut by saying this. Everybody already knows the left doesn't like Donald Trump. So you could say that for the 1,200 days that Donald Trump's going to be in office. It's already known. So when you say something like that, you keep his name in the relevancy. You keep his name out there. What I'm saying is if you want to de-emphasize the president, stop covering him. Just ignore him.
Like I said, you have to.
You don't have to cover him.
There's scandals, so what are you going to cover?
Now, here's what you do.
Then you're making up fake news. Then you create fake news.
No.
I'm just saying, I think you would.
Vito, there's 24 hours in a news cycle, right?
Yes. 1
hour can be devoted to what the president did.
I want to hear this, actually.
Okay, if the plan is, I'm going to program
program
the left.
CNN. CNN. Just program a show. There's no left or right.
Here's what I'm going to do. Every hour we can devote at the top of the hour when people tune in what the president did and said in his briefings.
What he did, that was stupid today.
8 minutes. 8 minutes. The next, go on to other news, what's going on in the economy, what the Democrats are looking at, what different races are shaping up to be. Highlight other people. Trump should be at the top of the news maybe for 4 minutes every hour. That's it. And the rest of it is highlighting your own party.
But guess what happens to the ratings? 2 thumbs down, they plummet. And you know that too, right? When they plummet...
Okay, so
Trump's newsworthy. I'm not saying you're creating news just to have him in the news because you're going to say that to me now. No, I'm not trying to say that. I'm not spinning it that way or pushing an agenda. It's not about that. It's about ratings? Newsworthy headlines. And they care about ratings, but they are newsworthy headlines.
So he's
making headlines every single day. So you cover him because he leads the ratings subsequently too.
So for the conservative party, it's win-win. They need ratings so they can talk about Donald Trump. But
so why are you guys complaining? Why would a conservative be complaining? Because we're talking about your guy.
Yeah.
We're talking about your man. So what's the big deal then?
The reverse effect is that he's got it win-win. They're talking about you, and then your base is rallying behind you. What I'm saying is, if the objective is not ratings and viewership, if the objective is to actually get him out of office, you got to stop talking about him.
I'm saying CNN doesn't have an agenda. I don't think they're really pushing agendas. So you think that? You strongly think that?
100%. Of course they have an agenda.
It's their news coverage.
It's not.
I just think it's their news coverage.
We'll disagree with that.
We'll agree. We'll agree to disagree. Definitely, yes. We'll agree to disagree on that one. Yep.
Now, the next thing, which is fun, is the latest round of things that I was not invited to, which happened even earlier this week. 2 things: the wedding, and you went to a Kendrick Lamar concert. How'd that go?
Where I didn't drop the M-bop.
Good job.
Like that lady that went on stage. I didn't see anything like that. Now, I was far removed from the stage. I could see him a little bit. I was on the grass at DTE. Okay. So I was there with my buddies. Guess who was there again?
Who was there? Nick Schmiegel.
He was there. So something that Doc wasn't invited to yet again, and it was fun. It was well worth it. I knew like 8 of his 18 songs that he played, and he got off of the stage quick, it seemed like to me. Before 11 o'clock, by the way.
All I'm going to ask you is, I've never seen a hip-hop show at DTE. How does it play? Sound good?
Sounds great. Packed. Okay. Oh, my God. Fully packed. Sold out. I know that for a fact, too. And a lively crowd, man. You had people singing along. You had some white males and females dropping the M-bomb. I'll just say that much.
They were.
Well, yeah, it's going to happen. It's bound to happen. Now, should it be happening? Nah. Okay. I don't advocate it, but it definitely was on a Wednesday night at DTE.
Okay. So you had a good time. I'm glad to hear it.
I did. A little bit of liquor, like alcohol, maybe, but not too much. I had to drive home and didn't want to get liquored up, per se.
All right, Vito, let's finish out the podcast with Vito's Quickie News, some things you wanted to highlight. I know you're excited. You had a lot of things that kind of caught your attention. Hit us with the news, brother. What happened?
The major one to bring up first and foremost is Ariana Grande already being engaged to Pete Davidson from SNL after starting to date in May.
It can happen to you, Vito.
Look at that. I'm going to say this. I was joking around with my buddy, Nick, and then somebody else earlier in the week, let's just say. And we were saying, if you had the opportunity, if you really did to date Ariana Grande, wouldn't you lock her up like right away in terms of, get engaged? Yep. I would propose to her like 3 weeks in too. I'm not going to miss out on her because I'm famous because of it. Now, Pete Davidson already is like a critically acclaimed comic, stand-up comedian from SNL, has a lot of fans and, I think a huge following on Twitter himself. But still, Ariana Grande is like a queen. He's like a peasant. Think about it, compared to her, right? So, I mean, I don't blame him whatsoever for getting engaged with Ariana Grande after dating for, I believe, less than a month in totality. Think about that. But he locked her up, and more power to Pete Davidson from Saturday Night Live.
What else, Vito? What else caught your attention?
So how about, now, next up is the Washington Capitals and Alex Ovechkin living it up in Vegas, baby. What a great place to win a cup and a championship in. My God, I don't blame him at all for living it up and partying it up in Vegas, man.
Have you ever seen the Stanley Cup live?
No, I've never seen the Stanley Cup final live. Like at a game, you mean? Like live?
No, the actual trophy.
No, I've never seen it in person, I think. Have you actually?
Yeah, I've taken a picture with it.
How cool did it look in front of you?
It's awesome, man.
Yeah?
I took a picture with it. I've never seen it with a player partying. A couple friends of mine have. Maybe we'll have them in here for two Bad Hombres to see what it was like to party with the Stanley Cup. But, man, what a trophy. What a celebration. And that's why many people view the NHL to be better than the NBA. Ovi stuck with the same team, had his trials and tribulations, had that one team, Pittsburgh, that was just really hard to get over, and then finally you get over that team, and then you win the Stanley Cup. They deserve to celebrate, and they're partying like rock stars. It's fun to see.
I'd be living it up like that, too. And he likes that dubstep. Tiesto, one of the best dubstep musicians, artists of all time, was there. They were partying in Vegas. That was really, really cool to see. Now, how about IHOP changing its name, or kind of, it really never happened to IHOP, though. They're changing the P with the B, because they're going to make burgers now. So they went from a pancake restaurant, predominantly a pancake restaurant, to now making like 7 burgers. Who cares about the burgers they make? Is anybody really in their right mind going to go to IHOP for burgers, man? Makes no sense to me. And it's not like a full-fledged change, but I guess they have a place, I think in Hollywood, California, something like that. In California, one of the restaurants did officially change its name and is going to stick it out with the IHOB, the B in place of the P. But it's IHOP for a reason, because of pancakes and breakfast foods. Who's really going to go to IHOP in their right mind and go get a burger? Nobody does, and nobody still is going to go and eat a burger at IHOP. I know I wouldn't. I'm not going to go try a burger at IHOP. Are you going to go try one out now? Because they have like 7 burgers on their menu and kind of gourmet burgers?
No, it's all good. It's all good. So tell me what's going on. They still sell pancakes? But
they're selling pancakes and breakfast foods, but the thing is now they want to sell burgers, like 7 gourmet burgers. I'm going to pass, a hard pass on that one for me. So you think that way about IHOP then becoming kind of, but not really IHOP. Not into it at all.
Not into
hard
burgers.
Pass, huh?
There's so many burger places, Vito. It's hard to keep up. I got my 4 or 5. I don't need another one. Maybe once in a while you try it, but I'm more along the lines of going there for breakfast. That's it.
Now, a serious topic to end Vito's Quickie. Anthony Bourdain committing suicide. Sad thing whenever you hear somebody taking his or her own life. And with this guy,
and
he traveled, and Kate Spade in the same week. 2 celebrities or prominent figures in the same week, and sad to see, Doc.
It always is, and it does always highlight the fact that mental health is important. We've talked about it ad nauseum.
We did.
It's very important. And if you follow us on Twitter at Detroit Podcast, we talk about it. If you know anybody that needs therapy, that is struggling with anything in any facet of their life, even if you're doing well, sometimes some self-reflection is important. I'm a full-time psychologist, so I would always recommend that if there's anything that you're struggling with and you feel like you need professional help, take advantage. There are people that do care. And I do like the fact that mental health in the last couple of years has been talked about now more in professional sports. It's being talked about now continuously with celebrities. There's more advocacy for it. And I do think that we're doing a better job in the field of promoting mental health. And I will always do that. And you can always call the suicide prevention number. It's national. You can always look it up. And if you are ever in a time of significant need, there's always somebody there that will talk to you and help you get the resources you need. It's sad. Anthony Bourdain, Kate Spade, you hate to think that somebody suffered that much that they would take their life. It's really unfortunate. It's always tough for me to hear those kind of stories. It really hits home doubly in that sometimes depression wins out, and it's unfortunate. Talented individuals sometimes succumb to an illness, and we just got to continue to research, support mental health, and continue to support those professionals who commit their lives to help out.
And you're always a call away yourself, right?
I'm always a call away myself. You can always direct message at Detroit Podcast, at Vito Jerome, and we can always facilitate any kind of help you need by giving you the right context.
Awesome stuff, Doc.
Great podcast, Vito. I had a good time.
Awesome time here on Two Bad Hombres this week, and tune in for another fresh edition of the podcast next Saturday. Adios.